Math 171, Module 1. Solving inequalities with graphs. In this question, we are given the graph of a function, and then we are asked to find the interval on which f(x) is greater than 2. What we'll need to do first is draw a horizontal line, and we want that horizontal line to intersect the graph at y equals 2. Then we can find the x values where the graph is above that line. So let's draw a dotted line where y equals 2. Now we can place stars on the graph where the line crosses the graph. Here and here. Now let's draw a number line to represent this. We'll begin by placing negative infinity on the left and positive infinity on the right. However, we have a closed dot that begins the graph here at -4. So I'll put a double line and mark it with a -4 to show that this is where the graph starts. Nothing to the left of -4 is going to exist here, so I will X that out now. We'll place a star at -3. Place another star at 1. And place another double line where the graph ends. The graph ends here at 3 because we have another closed dot, meaning that this is where the graph will terminate. We'll place a double line here and X out anything that comes after. The only time you ever go on to negative infinity or infinity is if you have an arrow on the end of the line. Here we have a closed dot instead, here and here. Therefore, we will not go all the way to either of the infinities. Now let's compare the graph to our orange line. In between -4 and -3, which I will label as piece A, we can see the graph is above the dotted line. Now between -3 and 1, we can see the graph is below the dotted line. We'll label that piece B. For the final part of the graph, which I will label as piece C, going from 1 to 3, we can see the graph comes back above the dotted line. Now, our inequality says that f(x) must be greater than 2. So the regions that are above will be part of the answer, and the region that's below will not be part of the answer. Now, one more thing to consider, f(x) is strictly greater than 2, which means the stars will be open. This means they are not included in the answer. However, the double lines are closed because they will be included in the answer because they are represented again with closed dots. So with that in mind, let's write our answer. Our first region goes from -4 to -3. The double line will be closed with a square bracket, and the -3 was open since it's one of the stars. Now, union, the other region that's part of the answer, goes from 1 to 3. The 1 is a star, and it will be open, so we'll have a parentheses there. And the 3 is a double line, and it will be closed. So this is the interval upon which f(x) is greater than 2. Let's repeat this process for the next problem, which says that f(x) is less than or equal to 1. Let's begin by drawing a horizontal line at y equals 1. Now let's place stars on the places where that dotted line crosses the graph, here and here. Once again, we draw a number line. We can place our infinities on the left and the right. Now place the stars where they appeared. We have a star here at -2, and another at 0. We place our double lines where the function begins and ends. Once again, the function begins at -4 and ends at 3. Now we look to the inequality. The inequality says we are looking for anything that is below the 1. Now, since the inequality says less than or equal to, that means that anything that is a star is included. Therefore, the stars will be closed this time. Let's look between -4 and -2. This piece of the graph is definitely above this dotted line here. So we'll say above. Now between -2 and 0, that's between the stars here and here, we can tell the graph is below that orange dotted line. So this will be below. But after you go past the second star, the graph goes back above that dotted line. Now we were looking for the parts that were below 1. Therefore, the intervals that are above are not part of the answer. Only the interval that's below is part of the answer. So we're just looking between the two stars. That's the only piece of the function that is below this orange dotted line, the piece that I've circled. So our answer will be -2, 0. Now once again, we said the stars are closed because the inequality said less than or equal to is okay. Therefore, the stars are included in the answer, and we represent that by drawing a square bracket around the numbers. So this one piece is the interval where the graph is below or equal to 1.